Welcome to part 3 of the interview with Pastor Melo, the author of The True Third Secret of Fatima Revealed. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, or even leave us some comments if you're finding this content helpful. Let's pick it up now from when the emissary sent by the Pope asks, Simão Toko, in Angola, who are you? What was Toko's response?
First of all, the emissary from the Vatican was completely amazed because when he went where Simon Toko was, he was always with his disciples or his followers, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All of them, okay?
Mm-hmm.
When he got into the room, started to talk in Italian. Really, yeah.
Wow.
They started talking, yeah. He talked with them in Italian, and no one of them learned Italian.
Wow. Okay.
This was the first sign, okay?
Yeah.
And the second, Simon Toko said, okay, you came to see me, to know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
So read the Bible. And he gave Matthew chapter 11. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Matthew chapter 11. And what is really extraordinary is that when you read Matthew chapter 11.
I have it here. I have it.
Okay, can you read it? Because the Pope's name was John. And you see that Matthew chapter 11 is to John.
Yes.
And at that time, it was John the Baptist.
Yes.
But it's no coincidence.
So it says here in Matthew 11, and it came to pass when Jesus had made an end of commanding his 12 disciples, he departed thence to teach and to preach in their cities. Verse 12. Verse 2. Yeah. Now when John had heard in the prison the works of Christ, he sent two his disciples. And he said unto him, Are you he that should come, or do we look for another? Isaiah answered and said unto them, Go and show John again those things which you do hear and see. The blind receive their sight, the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, and the deaf hear. The dead are raised up, and the poor have the gospel preached to them.
Is work done by Kimbangu.
Yes, absolutely.
Because Simon Toko used to raise dead people also. But on the condition, he would first say, who knows that your relative is dead? Are the neighbors informed? If you say, yes, the neighbors are informed, I can't do anything. But if they say, no, no one knows, say, okay, I will go there, I will raise it up. But on the condition that you shut up, you don't tell anyone.
Wow.
Yes, he would say that what I suffered 2,000 years ago, it was because of that. I have personally met someone, okay, who one day went to see Simon Toko. And I will be very short. He was requesting something. And Simon Toko told to him, no. It can't be done. He was so disappointed. And Simon Toko said, okay, you are disappointed. I can understand you. But do that for me. Look what I did for you. And all of a sudden, he changed. And he saw in the hands of Simon Toko, the
nail, the mark of the nails.
He said, I was hung up like an animal 2,000 because of you. And what I'm requesting you is nothing compared to what I did for you. He started to cry, the other one, and he said, okay, I will obey. He saw, I met him personally. He saw it. Yeah.
Wow.
But Simon Toko he was hiding himself in a manner because many people knew that he was the Messiah. For example, imagine in Kakonda, it's in the book also.
Yes.
They cut him in 4 parts, and he raised up.
Yes.
And the one who witnessed it, I met him personally.
And handy.
The one who witnessed when Simon Toko was under a tractor.
Yes, this
They
is the
cut him
gentleman, the
in
man
four
called
pieces.
Kahandi. I think his name was
Kanyandi.
Kanyandi. Yes.
Yes, I
So
met Kanyandi.
You met Kanyandi
I
yourself.
met I met Kanyandi. I
Okay.
talked to him, and he
Yes.
said, "This is the reason why I'm in this church, because what I saw, incredible." And you know, the Portuguese, he was almost crazy when he saw that. Okay.
Before I forget, Pastor Melo, when I read the book and I got there, I had to stop because Simao Toko knew it was going to happen, and he came and called Kahandi, Kahandi, come and see what they're about to do to the Son of Man.
Yes, exactly.
So
Exactly.
I don't know of another instance, but you pointed it out very well in the book. I don't know of another instance where it's recorded that Simao Toko called himself the Son of Man.
The Son of Man. Yes, he would never do that, but because you know he was on a mission. Simon Toko was born in the northern part of Angola.
Okay.
And this also is a prophecy, which is in the Bible, must be Psalm chapter 48, the
Okay.
northern part of Angola. Okay. And the Portuguese sent him to the southern part of Angola.
Okay.
And Simon Toko said, I came here so that you can be saved spiritually, because they, you know, they were in many traditions that were against the, let's say, the will of the Most High. So when Kanyandi started telling all, it reminds me of the woman that Christ met in the well, you know,
Yes.
the Samaritan, who
Yes.
went and said to the village, I've met the, it's exactly what Kanyandi said. I saw this man dead,
chopped up,
his body cut in four pieces, and he raised up. He must be the Messiah. He must be the Messiah. Yeah.
And then also, and I'm jumping a little bit ahead here, but there was a commandant, I think he was called Commandant Paiva.
Paiva, yes.
And he had been yes, they had been instructed to go and kill Simão Toko, which they went and did. They cut him up into pieces, they butchered him like an animal, and they put his body parts in a sack or something like that. And they came back 3 days later. And Simão Toko was pretty much telling them, hey, what's up?
I'm here.
I'm here. And,
okay. And now,
go ahead.
I'll tell you. You know that the first president of Angola, Agostinho Neto,
yes,
was raised up with Simon Toko.
Oh.
Because Simon Toko was an orphan.
Okay.
Orphan of father, orphan of mother.
Yes.
Okay. But he was so intelligent.
Okay.
That the missionaries of the Baptist Missionary Society from London, they said, now this child deserves to go on with his studies. Simon Toko was in the northern part of Angola. They wrote to Agostinho Neto's father, who was a pastor. They said, Pastor, we have here a child who is very promising. Would you accept to take him home in your home and assist him in his studies? He said, no problem. And Simon Toko went to live with Agostinho Neto's family.
Oh.
Okay. Yes. And what happened is he remained there 4 years.
Okay.
And after 4 years of studies, the day he was leaving the Neto's family, he gathered the family, the father, the mother, and said, okay, look, you know that I'm an orphan. I have nothing to offer you. Okay. I'm very grateful the manner, the way you received me in your home. I was really like a son here. The only thing that I can do is that I will bless, follow well. I will bless this, my brother Agostinho, and he will be the first king of this country. The Portuguese are going to leave, and the first to rule this country will be my brother Agostinho. And Agostinho was 11 years old.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Agostinho Neto was 11 years old. Simon Toko blessed him, prayed for him, and you know it was no one believed that this would happen because later on,
yes,
Agostinho Neto was sent to Portugal,
yes,
to be a doctor, medicine,
okay,
nothing to do with politics.
yeah.
But when he was in Portugal, he started, he entered the liberation movement that ended up with him becoming the first president of Angola. Okay? And now, unfortunately, when he became president, to become president, he had to get a link with the communists in Soviet Union.
Okay.
And they started denying the existence of God, of the Most High. Okay, yes. They said, you know what how it was. Yes. And yes. Simon Toko told Agostinho, your father was a pastor, and now you are teaching people that God doesn't exist. Look, normally I, Simon Toko, you know that I prophesied that you would be president.
Yes.
And you would have remained in power for many, many years. But because you introduced here this false philosophy that God doesn't exist, I give you 4 years. After 4 years, you will die. And you won't die here. You will die from where you receive your And he said to Agostinho, and your body will be put in a locker when you will see boats passing every day. And exactly what happened. 4 years later, Agostinho Neto, I can't remember exactly what happened, but he went to Moscow and he died in Moscow. And he used in his biography, he stated that he was from Katete, and Katete is the center. It's 60 kilometers from Luanda, but no sea. There's a river that passes there, but there's no sea in Katete. But when they announced that he would be buried in Katete, the people of Katete, they said, okay, we will see, the African traditions. And they realized, in fact, that Agostinho Neto's father was from São Tomé.
Okay.
He was not from Angola. He said, our traditions doesn't allow us to bury him here. He's not from here. His roots are not here. And that's the reason why they took his body from Katete, and he is buried in Luanda at the side, seaside.
At the seaside.
Looking for, he sees boats passing every day.
Oh,
exactly how the prophecy of Simon Toko.
Wow. Wow.
And you know that when they took him to Portugal for 11 years, he was in Portugal as a Portuguese. They took out his heart. It's in the Bible. And he continued living. And you have witnesses of it.
Wait a minute. Did you say it's in the Bible? You said they took
in the Bible. No. In the Bible, it says there's a text in the Bible where Christ has very, very weird phrase. Oh, he said that.
He was very afraid.
Power. No. He said, I have the power to take my life and to give it again.
Okay, yes.
Remember?
Yes, I remember.
This is the power I received from my father. But someone who knows that he would die only once, it's completely ridiculous to say that I have the power to give my life and to take it back. But when you read Simon Toko's biography, he was killed so many times and he will raise up.
Yes.
He was resurrected.
Yes. Wow.
And very rapidly to just tell, because this is verified, it can be checked. It can be when he was set free Simon Toko from Portugal after 11 years, he came back in a boat, okay? And the boat was programmed to go straight from Lisbon to Luanda.
Okay.
Okay. But when he was on the boat, Simon Toko went to talk to the captain of the boat and said to him, look, I have a problem. Oh, what is your problem, Mr. Toko? I said, no, I have people in Lobito. Lobito is about, let's say, 100 or 150 kilometers from Luanda. Okay. But you have to pass first in Luanda to go to Lobito.
Okay.
And Simon Toko told the captain, I would like to go first to Lobito, visit my people, and after that, the captain said, you crazy. I have a plan, I have a schedule. I must respect the schedule.
Yeah.
And you're asking me to go to Lobito and after that to come back here. That it's impossible. Simon Toko said, okay, no problem. You know what happened? When the boat was approaching Luanda, all of a sudden, the machinery was blocked. And by itself, the boat passed by Luanda and went to Lobito.
They could not control it.
They could not. The captain tried every effort to put the boat on the right direction. But the motors, the engine didn't operate. So and he went to Lobito, and when you come here in Angola, you will see thousands of witnesses of this because they didn't expect him to come first to Lobito.
Yes. Okay.
And the boat, they were amazed. What is this boat doing here? He came, he went out, he met his people. All the night they were together. And, when Simon Toko was out of the boat, the captain said, okay, we will left him behind. He tried to put the engines so that the boat, but he couldn't. But when Simon Toko came back, he said, okay, now we can go to Luanda. And they tried the engines and everything was functioning.
So he demonstrated his power over science.
Yeah.
It's like with the plane, when they tried to, kill him in the plane and he took control.
Okay. So these are those signs which show that he is, in fact, the Messiah. Because no one on earth can do that. No one. And one of the signs, when you said about false prophets, imagine all the people, the emperors, the kings that in history, if they had the power to resurrect, they would be with us.
Yes.
But this gift was given to one man only. And that one man is the Messiah. There's something very important I would like to, because time is passing.
Yes.
And we have to outline a very important fact.
Okay.
Is that, the Bible, the history in the Bible is ours. I would like to tell my people, my brothers, my sisters, you know that white people are terrible. They changed quite all the names in the Bible. For example, I will tell you, when you open 1 King, chapter 6, it will give you the date of the Exodus.
1 Kings, chapter 6?
Chapter 6, starting from the first verse. It must be 1 and 2. It gives you the date of the Exodus with Moses. Okay?
There we go. I am sharing it. Go on.
Okay. Can you read it?
Yes. It says, and it came to pass in the 400th year, after the children of Isolele were come out of the land of Egypt, in the 4th year of Solomon's reign over Isolele, in the month of Ziph, which is the 2nd month, that he began to build the house of the Lord.
Okay. When you know the date, the supposed date of the construction of the temple by Solomon, it's very easy to calculate the Exodus. And, it was in 1,446, starting from this clue of the construction of the temple.
Okay.
The Exodus with Moses was in year, more or less,
Yeah.
1,446 years before Christ.
Christ.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. Now the problem is that Hebrew, you can't talk about a nation without that nation having a language.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's very easy to check. Hebrew existed only 800 years before Jesus Christ. There's a gap of about 600 years with no possibility that Israel would exist. So this means that there was a nation, okay, during that time that gave Moses, that gave the prophets,
Yes.
and those people who speak Hebrew, I can give so many examples,
Yes.
Those people who speak Hebrew today, they just copied, okay? They came 600 years after, and they stole our legacy. And this is very easy to demonstrate. For example,
Yes.
In Kikongo, how we say to pray?
To samba.
Okay, good. It's not to samba, it's samba.
Samba. Okay.
Okay. Now, look, you are a white people. You say I'm a very intelligent. I belong to a very intelligent people or community. Okay. You come to primitive peoples in Africa that didn't know about the Bible. They didn't know about the true. Okay. And you tell them, how do you say to pray? They say samba. Oh. You just take the nasal of the word. When you write samba, it's Samba.
Yes.
But you know that our languages very often have nasals.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
You take out the nasal. What is the word that is left?
Saba. Saba.
And Saba is not the day of prayer for the
Seventh
Jews?
day. Even in Swahili, it means 7.
Yes. Yes. They should have opened the eyes, but they didn't want to open them because they wanted to be, supremacists.
Yes.
To say that everything came from them.
Yes.
And in so doing, they were, in fact, playing against themselves. That's the reason why the third secret of Fatima has become so explosive.
Yes.
Okay? Look at what's happening with Trump, Elon Musk. When they know that, in fact, they're talking about the Messiah Christ, they are convinced that he's a white man. He couldn't be a white man.
Yes.
Impossible. First of all, because of the circumcision. Yes. 97% of people in Congo are circumcised. Yeah. And in Europe, you have 6%. The average is 6% of people, and they're Jewish people. So anyone, even an alien coming from out of the space, when he comes and analyze, he would say, where most of the people practice circumcision, they have the true. It's obvious.
Yes. Yes.
Obvious.
And even in the book, you do talk about the 5 explosive secrets from Fatima. And you talk about, number 1, that the lies will be exposed. These lies that have been telling us that Jesus is white and giving us images. And then you talk about the misplaced pride will be annihilated.
Yes.
These are the people who've been saying they are the most intelligent. They've been saying they are the Jews, but they're not. Even the scriptures say they are not. And then you talk about the Antichrist is being revealed.
Yes.
That's the third point. And we saw it in that Rome, the Pope, did not want to announce the Christ.
The Master.
Yes. We discuss it even here amongst ourselves, and we say, when we look at the commandments, the first one says, you shall have no other gods. You shall not make images. But when you walk into a lot of the churches, that is the first thing you see. It's an image of Christ. You know,
above all, Catholic Church.
yes. And then the other thing you mentioned, which I want to ask you about, is you mentioned the 12 tribes and their return to the land.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what are some of the things in the scriptures that help us identify who are the true Isolele?
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that.
First, first, the geographical situation. We talked
Okay.
about it.
Yeah.
They must be the. It's written in Hebrew. They say Nevel Nabel Haaretz. Nabel Haaretz. It's the navel
Of the earth.
of okay. It's written in Ezekiel, and for centuries,
Mhm.
Jewish people that are today in the Middle East, they would say that Israel in the Middle East is the navel of the earth.
Mm.
And only when, the scientists started to make accurate maps
Yes.
that they realized that it's not true.
Yes.
It can be that the navel is where the equator
Yeah.
passes. Okay,
Okay.
this is the first. The second is the richest because it's a promise of the Mosai.
Yes.
I would give you the richest of countries. And you know that Israel in Middle East is very poor. They don't have anything. Even, the Arab around them,
Yes.
Qatar, Arabia, they have oil, but they don't even have oil.
Yes.
And only kilometers apart, you see?
Yes.
So this science came from the Mosai to say that this is not my territory. And
Mm.
also that when you suffer a trauma,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
the local where the trauma happened will be something you will never see again, want to see again.
Yes.
But imagine that Christ was on the cross in
Mm.
Jerusalem.
Mm.
Okay, he died on the cross on the Golgotha in Jerusalem, and he would return to Jerusalem to reign,
Mm.
where he was tortured, where he suffered so much,
Mm.
and also, uh, that we black people also, from time to time, I said that we don't reflect
Mm-hmm.
much. You know that in the body of the Messiah, the
Yeah.
body of Kuswa or Christ, all because there's only one race, the human race,
Okay.
right? But we have distinct colors.
Okay.
But to sum up, you have those who have a clear complexion,
Yeah.
and those who have a dark complexion. That's all. Okay. And in the body of Christ, when he was on the cross, he had to represent both the clear complexion and
Mm-hmm.
the dark complexion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, on the body of a white, where are we black people or dark people? Where are we? Okay. But now, when we put things on the right place,
Yes.
see my hands.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm white in my hands,
Mm.
where the blood of Christ was split. Okay.
Mm.
It was for those who have this color, and
Mm.
the rest is,
Mm. Mm. Mm.
and in a body, on one body, all children of the Messiah were represented on the cross.
Okay.
But when you said that he was white, we are excluded.
Mm.
Black people, we are excluded from the body of the
Yes.
sacrifice.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
This is very easy. And also, the Most High promised that Isolele would put his enemies under his feet.
Yes.
That's the reason why we have also, you see,
Mm. Ah.
this under our feet.
Feet. Yes.
But no one can tread upon,
Yes.
our skin, because
Mm-mm.
it's God's skin. You
Yes.
can't tread upon it.
No. No, you can't. No, you can't. And
These are
we've
small
also,
signs.
yes,
Okay.
we're also familiar with, Deuteronomy 28 when it talks about, like in verse 64, that we would be scattered around the world.
Yeah.
The blacks are the only people who've experienced that, their history. You know, it's undeniable. There's nobody who can say this European nation or this Arab nation or that Asian nation have been scattered around the world and enslaved. They cannot. They cannot. Okay, I want to ask you one more question.
I would like to stress one thing
Sure.
also. You know, after years and years of investigation, saying that Isolele in Egypt or Kemet was slave during 400 years has no ground at all.
No.
No ground.
No.
At more or less 100 years, okay?
Yes.
But 400 years, it happened only once in history. And we are living it right now.
Yes.
Because I will send you my book, Dry Bones, and you will see the coincidence. The 400 years that fell in 2019 with the COVID. You know, the COVID crisis was a sign from the Most High that my people have to go out of that Babylon. I'll send the book to you.
Okay.
But it's in PDF format.
That's all right. That's all right. We will read it that way. No problem. Towards the end of the book, you mentioned that on March 9th, 1983.
Yes.
For those who are watching this and don't know this, Pastor Melo started writing this book many years ago.
Many, many years ago.
I think you stated that it took you 17 years to write this book.
Yes.
But you mentioned something that caught my attention. You mentioned that you experienced a revelation in which there was burning fire.
Yes. Exactly.
And this is how the true third secret was revealed to you. This happened on March 9th, but then a few months later, on August 23rd of the same year, 1983, is when you are given the revelation of the true secret of Fatima. So, first of all, tell us if you can. If you don't want to, you don't want to. You don't have to. But tell us about this revelation where there was a burning fire.
Yes.
Thank you for listening. This brings us to the end of part 3 of this interview with Pastor Melo. Please remember to click the like button or click the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed. Share this with your friends and also leave us some comments. Be sure to look out for part 4, in which we will hear about Pastor Melo's experience of a burning fire and the revelation that he was given. Thank you.